Welcome back to the Ministry of Slam, the UK's #1 pro wrestling talk show. Your wrestling radio revolution starts right here. And with us this week, and also in the show, as well as the phenomenal AJ Styles, we have, you could call him the premier UK superstar, representing the UK overseas. Forget William Regal, we're talking about Desmond Wolfe, TNA superstar. Thanks very much for coming on the show.
Nice to be here. I can do that and offend you, can't I?
You can, yeah. You can say wankers on our show. It's fine, not a problem. We don't censor anything.
No. Window lickers, we get away with that as well.
Of course, yeah, no problem. We've seen a few of them as we've been walking around. Anyway, right now, Desmond, it is your first TNA UK tour. How do you think the UK fans are going to react to you, seeing as you're pretty unpopular with them in the States?
Yeah, I don't know actually. I hope they react one way or the other. You know, that's what you want from a wrestler is any kind of reaction. And generally speaking, the fans here have been pretty good in that regard. You know, all the times I've wrestled over here before, and obviously there's going to be huge shows, and they're all up for some good old-fashioned wrestling. So I'll be beating up some Yanks, old school style, and hopefully they'll get into it.
Fantastic. Now, a lot of changes have happened in TNA over the last few months with the involvement of Eric Bischoff and the immortal Hulk Hogan. What are your thoughts on the new direction of TNA?
It's always a work in progress, but the thing I love about it is that I'm as in the dark about what's going on as the fans, you know, and I love that. And that's a good reason for people to tune in, because they don't know what they're going to see any more than I do. You know, I think that's where back in the days of the Monday Night Wars, that's why people kept switching the channel to see what was going to happen next. And I think if you're constantly in that state of, you know, excitement about what's coming on next, and that's how you can build a fan audience, a fan base. And that's what Eric Bischoff did so well when he started things up there. And it was in '96 when that all started coming off. Yeah.
You broke into TNA, you went up against Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, had some of the matches of the year. What was it like for you breaking back into TNA and going straight into a feud with a main event player like Kurt?
Huge, the biggest break of my career without a doubt, you know. To go against him, he's obviously a guy that I've watched for many years and heard through the grapevine just what a great wrestler he is, but until you're in the ring with someone you never really get the sense of it, and he is just as good as they make out, you know. It's great to be in the ring with him, you know. It's just great to be a part of a company where you've got legends like that, and even just the other day I wrestled with Sean Morley, Val Venus, and I remember sitting at home as a youth watching him, you know, and thinking, oh, great professional wrestling, and here I am in the ring with him. It's, you know, it's nice to have those moments.
Now, of course, we're just a short distance away from Wembley Stadium, and I know we've spoken to you on previous occasions, and you, along with myself, were at SummerSlam '92. How does it feel now, just being across the road and wrestling in just over a week's time, Wembley Arena?
Yeah, it's huge actually. I was just talking to the fellow from the Wembley newspaper about it. And I came to Wembley Arena, I believe, a little bit before I did SummerSlam, because WCW had a tour over here, and it was the first time I ever saw, you know, Steve Regal wrestle. I quit school not quit school, I think quit school for good, obviously. That would be silly. But I left at about 2 o'clock early, got on the train, came up to London, went to the Wembley Arena, watched the show, and again, it was the PN News was on that show, and I wrestled him, and it's great to be able to, you know, go, once I was sitting out there, and now I'm part of the actual show, you know. So it's huge for me. You know, I'm really excited about it. Just trying to enjoy life, you know, trying to make the most of it. And I think a lot of times in life people forget about that and just enjoying being in the moment. So I'm trying to do that.
Okay, now TNA Genesis, again, we spoke to AJ about it. AJ had one of the standout matches against Kurt Angle, but again, something that really emphasised the new direction of TNA. Classic match, in my opinion, between yourself and the Pope, D'Angelo De Niro. Really good storytelling in there, you know, real good characters and a story developing through the match. What are your thoughts on your feud with the Pope and you know, his role in TNA?
Pope's just got a great charisma, and I was talking to him the other day actually. A lot of times on some of those TV tapings they can be a bit arduous, you know, when with fans have been there for a long time, they've seen a lot of stuff, but every time Pope goes out, the people come up, you know, and that's always half the problem. You know, once you've got that cracked and you know the person who you're going in there with gets a reaction, then you're halfway there, you know. So I always enjoy that, and it's good to be in there with someone like that. We've got slightly different styles, you know. He's more sort of showy, more sort of WWE based. I do more of the technical wrestling side of things, and sometimes it takes a little bit of time to gel together. But I think in that match we managed to pull it off pretty well. You know, by me being the living shit out of his leg.
It was a fantastic match. I mean, Pope's being considered to be kind of like a new version of The Rock's in some ways, in terms of like cutting the promos.
Right.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, he's done a lot of homework, or rather, he's always been a fan for a long time. So you can pick up various different traits of his promos from various people. Dusty Rhodes obviously had a huge influence on him. Ric Flair to a certain extent, and maybe The Rock as well. He was always a huge NWA fan growing up.
Now, you're not the only Brit to be making waves in TNA recently. Of course, the British Invasion, Doug Williams and Brutus Magnus dominated the tag team division during 2009. What are your thoughts on TNA now maximising the use of international talent?
I hope they continue to do so, you know. I mean, Doug, I've wrestled as a tag team partner with Doug for a long time, and in fact when I first came back to England and wrestled for Brian Dixon, Doug was one of the guys that I watched and tried to sort of learn some of the British style from, so I always had a great deal of respect for him, so it was great to see him there. And Brutus as well now is coming along great guns, you know. He's really got a fantastic look, and he can wrestle as well, you know. A lot of people don't realise that he's very, very technically sound as well, so I'm hoping it continues. And even you know, little Rob Terry, when he gets out there, you know, he's got the look without a doubt, and he's got a great attitude, and you know, he can do some stuff, give him a chance. So I hope it continues. There's a lot of other great wrestlers around as well, but you know, if we're going to keep coming back over here to Europe, it would be nice to have some guys on the show that really were hometown heroes.
Little Rob Terry, that's got to stick.
I always wanted to be a tag team, you know. I mean, Little Rob Terry and Big Dez. Right? Great. I do all the poses and stuff like that.
It sounds like a sitcom.
The Odd Couple.
Brilliant. Now, moving on to the TNA Maximum Impact Tour, of course, that's why you're over here in the UK. Dates here in, first of all, I think you're up in Glasgow the first day, culminating next Saturday here at Wembley Arena. Now, on Tuesday, you're wrestling AJ Styles in a World Heavyweight Championship match in our hometown of Bournemouth. We're going to be in attendance there. Now, of course, as we mentioned earlier, you've got your home field advantage with the UK fans in attendance. How do you feel the match is going to go with AJ?
I don't know, it's kind of tough to know, isn't it, how they're going to take to that. If they're going to cheer for me or not. I just hope they, like I said before, they just really get into it, because that makes wrestling so much easier. And sometimes other places I've wrestled in the past, crowd, you have to, you know, lop off your fucking head before like, they get any kind of reaction, you know. And here I'm hoping that won't be the case. So I'm excited about it. I don't think I've ever been to Bournemouth before, which is probably a good thing. Yeah. I think I may have driven through it once or twice, but yeah. So it's by the seaside, right?
Yeah, right by the seaside.
Yeah, I do like to be beside the seaside. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, and of course AJ is a world champion, you know. So more than anything else, I'm excited about being able to wrestle him for the belt and up my value in the company.
Now, talking of value, where is Desmond Wolfe going to be this time next year when the 2011 Maximum Impact Tour rolls back to the UK?
You know, I'd like to see myself as world champion, ploughing through the fields, you know, like those things that come from space.
Like meteor.
UFO. They come from space too.
Look at that UFO ploughing through the field.
Big crash landed.
Yeah. No, I'd obviously like to be the champion and, you know, really solidify my place in the company. I couldn't have been happier with the way I started and the push that I've got and everything else. And so it's really now up to me to, you know, to run with the ball and, you know, injure J Style.